What is up, DECA? My name is Jose Rodriguez, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Our Future. In this episode, I will be discussing on taking your experience as an advantage, in which the experience that you may have encountered during your life may be one of the best or either one of the things that you want to forget about. But in this case, we'll be talking about competitive events. And the thing about competitive events is that you learn something out of. Either you had a great experience or it was a bad experience. And precisely talking, reflecting back into ICDC 2021, we had several great competitors who have competed and even placed, making them one of the top in the world. And therefore, I want to discuss over how can you take your experience back in these competitions, not only ICDC, but also SCDC and also regional competitions that you may have competed. Either they're the best competitions that you ever did, or what you consider one of the worst performances that you ever had. Whatever the case is, I will be talking about. And I will be talking about how can you take that experience that you had back in your competition and how to make this the best performance that you had ever had. And the thing is that while you are competing, or even before you compete, it is important that you keep in mind of the mistakes that you encountered back in your competition. Either you messed up in your role play, or you forgot to do something before your exam, or even forgot to sleep. Let's say that also. But it is important that you keep in mind of your mistakes and find out how can you fix it. And this is something that every single competitor must have in mind, especially those who have competed multiple times, and especially for you who thought that they kept on trying, but they had seen no success. Therefore, it's important that you reflect back to your past competitions, or even when you are competing, take notes of what you committed, what you consider as a mistake, or even go back to your rubric of what elements were you missing, what made you miss points in your role play, or in the case of the test, what did you felt that you missed and what should you go over. And that is important that you do so, because if you don't go back and watch out what mistakes that you had in the past, you're gonna commit the same mistakes. And honestly, as a competitor, not only in DECA, but competitor in my whole life, whatever it is in your personal life, but when I don't go back and acknowledge my mistakes that I did in previous competitions, common mistakes that I will have ever done, I will commit the same mistakes because I will just go on it without realizing what I'm doing. And in order to have the best performance, you need to know what are you doing. Just take a second and just go, whoa, what should I do? I mean, should I go forward to this, or did this prevent me from having a good experience back in my competitions? And therefore, just stop and think. That is something that you need to do. I know it's very stressful, especially in DECA competitive events. There are super rigorous, to be honest, in my point of view. And once you receive recognition in DECA, take this as something great, something as an achievement, a huge achievement, because you have put that dedication in and brought this brought that bad experience that you had into one of the best. And therefore, think about these mistakes that you have done, even if they're small. Try to find mistakes that you had ever done, because finding these mistakes that have costed you can actually save you. And therefore, it is important, like I'm gonna repeat it again, it is important that you reflect back on your previous mistakes that you have ever done and try to look for a solution. Whether you are competing in the same event again because you did not like the results back in the previous competitions for the previous year, or you want to seek for another competition that you think that you are better in. Whatever the case is, try to reflect back on your previous mistakes. Sometimes these mistakes are not just because you forgot something out of. It could be something like that you probably forgot to study, or even a mistake that you have did. Probably you were not fully in dress code. That could even cost you some points in your competition. Therefore, keep a note in your mind of what should you watch out for and how could you fix this. Because if you don't fix it, it is for sure that you will commit the same mistake, and this could like get you back where you was, and that's what we don't want. So put your determination that you want to succeed, because in order to succeed, you need to have that determination and seek for what have you committed wrong and seek a solution for it. And therefore, that's what I have for this episode. And remember, before you compete or even thinking about competing, think about your previous mistakes and try to find that solution. See you in the next one.